Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 18th Traffic Commission. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Let's just go through a quick roll call. Chief Levita, City Planner Frank Stringy is absent. We'll note that down. City Engineer Nicholas Rystrom.
Here.
And Chief Cullen.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum, so we may proceed. Let's start off with our public hearings. There are 7 of them tonight. Public hearing number 1, amend Schedule 5 of Title 10, one-way streets. Cary Ave southerly from Cary Ave High School parking lot to East Mountain Ave one-way. Is there any proponent or opponent on this one? I believe this is more of a bookkeeping item. The residents, these signs are actually up right now, as well as the do not enter resident only sign on on the hearing item number 2. There is an issue I witnessed while we were installing sidewalks down there with the residents cutting through from East Mountain Ave through the high school parking lot up to Broadway to avoid traffic. So I do believe it seems like a necessary one-way street, in my opinion. Commission, any input?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Number 1 has been approved. All right. Item number 2 relates again to Cary Ave. Do not enter, residents only, direction northerly from Cary Ave to East Mountain Ave. This sign allows the residents themselves to not have to drive through the parking lot itself to get to their homes. Seems reasonable enough. Commission, any opinions? There's no proponents or opponents here today, so.
Mr. Chairman, as this is obviously related to number 1, I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Approved. Item number 2. All right, item number 3, amend Schedule 4 of Title 10 isolated stop signs by adding the following: Winthrop Ave and Webster Street stop sign. So the stop sign will be located on Winthrop Ave at Webster. Oh, our counselor's here to speak on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Councilor Joanne McKenna, Ward 1 Councilor. So we have a direct path about 2.5 blocks without no stop signs, and they're speeding up the street. I'm just trying to slow down the traffic. It's not in front of anybody's house. It's in front of a public stairs, the Winthrop Ave, Brad Street Ave public stairs, and there's a church across the street that someone lives upstairs on the side, so it's not going to bother anybody. If it does bother people, which I don't think it will, it would just stop the traffic, because we haven't had any speed tables yet on that street. So, but if it does bother people, I would just say that we do it for like 90 days and just try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, we'll take it out. But I just think it's going to work, because I think it's a necessary place to put a stop sign, especially where the public stairs is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Seeing and hearing none?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just to clarify, this is on Winthrop Ave heading eastbound, correct?
Heading eastbound at Webster, correct? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 3 has been approved. Next, item number 4, amend Schedule 11 of Title 10, handicap persons parking by adding 40 Warren Street. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this one today? Proponents, opponents? Is 40 Warren Street in this packet? It seems to be an 81-year-old. I actually have not read this packet. I don't know if you guys would like to either approve or table it until they would appear. Let's see.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. They do not have a
I went through
driveway.
this packet. It appears that this person is in need of handicap parking. They
I would agree
do
with
not
you.
have a driveway at that location, and for that reason, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 4, 40 Warren Street, handicap persons parking has been approved. Item number 5, request to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally by adding Beach Street, northwest corner, it's from 650 Beach Street, I just want to make that correction, to North Shore Road, no parking here at the corner, 30 feet is going to be the change. That's, would match the hashed out no stopping on
Exactly,
the other
Mr. Chairman.
side.
You're right. It's actually up to the first tree that they planted in front of 650. So it works out even with that back hash mark on the stop sign. And I've watched it before, recently, and it seems to work out okay because people have been parking by the trees. So I
Okay,
think that extra 10 feet will make a difference.
okay. Yeah, I have no issue with that. They actually, we tried to stripe this
Yeah, I saw
prematurely,
it.
and there was a vehicle parked there, so.
We got to put a cone there the night before.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Thank you, Counselor. So I see no issue with this. There was no parking spot there before. It was a curb cut to Pete's Roast Beef. So if it does help with the swing, I have no issue. But Commission, any motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 5, approved. All right, item number 6, request to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally by removing the 24-hour residential parking permit restrictions to the Riverside area, which includes Archer, Lawson, Wadley, Beckett, Blanchard, River, Gilbert, Frank, Tobin, John, Thayer, and Hayes Avenues. Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion that we had put in speaks for itself, and I really appreciate all the work everyone on this commission has done to help this come to fruition. And I think it would be the best thing for this neighborhood, as this neighborhood is having such a difficult time with not being able to park. They're so used to having the two-sided parking, but I think this is a good compromise that we've come to for now. And thank you, Laurie, for adding the other streets that were missed. Thank you.
Of course. I'd also like to add, we should probably vote these two, 6 and 7 together, since they are, it's just removal of 24-hour and enacting the overnight residential parking from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Instead of it being an MBTA community, it will now be a regular residential area with normalized residential parking overnight. I myself am in favor of this motion, so I would recommend a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, so
Yes.
moved.
Awesome. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 6 and 7 have been approved. All right. That concludes our public hearings. Next, we have a couple of agenda items. Council McKenna would like to amend Schedule 11 of Title 10, handicap, oh, I'm sorry, that was actually tabled, I believe. Yep, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I knocked on this woman's door. She's like in her 80s. I took pictures of her and her whole property. She was denied, I don't know how many years ago. She asked for a handicap pole, and she was denied because she has a driveway. But she's on a walker. Laurie saw the pictures. And where her driveway is, it's an incline. It's on Lantern Ave. It's in an incline. And it's probably, I'd say, a tenth of a mile, honest to God, to go from her driveway to the front door, and she has to do this and this, and she can't even walk. So I have to give her the paperwork, and I just want you guys, and I'm gonna bring you the pictures of her whole property and herself in the walker. I know that in the past, the commissioner, the Disabilities Commissioner, declined to put handicap poles in because if they had a driveway. But in some circumstances, it's needed. It really is. I had a lady across the street from me who had cancer and couldn't even walk, and she got denied because she had a driveway, and it was terrible, and she's passed. So I think in some circumstances, we have to just oversee this, the driveways, because some people can't use their driveways anymore because they're too old. So, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so we can table this item just till we get the handicap packet. Okay. Item number 2, amend Schedule 11 of Title 10, handicap persons parking by adding to Bateman Road. So this one I was able to go through. I would recommend sending this to public hearing, but I would like to hear from the resident as well pertaining to the need for this. There is a sign on the side of the house that says "Do not block driveway." I don't know if if they're using their driveway for something else or what it may be, but I would at least move this to public hearing, but I would like them to show up in front of us and plead their case. Commissioners, any input?
Motion to move to a public hearing?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Awesome. All those in favor? All those opposed? At least that gives them the ability to state what they need to state. Okay. So, item number 3, request to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions, generally by removing Lincoln Street northerly from Washington Ave to Burbank Street, no parking anytime. Alongside with that is item number 4, request to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions, generally by adding Lincoln Street direction northerly from Amasa to Vivian Street, no parking anytime. This is one of those situations where we're trying to clean up the books. This is actually posted no parking the entire length of the street, which is not the case on Lincoln. I would like to update the schedule and narrow the section where parking is no longer allowed from Amasa to Vivian Street. Commissioner,
Mr.
do we have-
Chairman?
Yes.
Just a question, this mentions a section of Lincoln from Washington to Burbank?
Yeah, I believe this predates Route 1, to be honest. I don't know why
Right,
else
it
it would do
would.
that. Okay.
So this really is Amasa to Burbank?
Yeah, that's why I want to update. I'm sorry, no, Amasa to Vivian Street. Burbank, there is room for parking further down on Lincoln Street. But
Okay.
that section from Amasa to Vivian Street, there is not.
So we'd be taking these together?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion to send to a public hearing?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Item number 3 and 4, move to public hearing. All right, item number 5. Mayor Keefe requests the following: that Chief Levita enforce the provisions of MGL Chapter 91, Section 1E. Further, that the Chief of Police, in conjunction with the Superintendent of Public Works, develop and educate campaigns for students relative to the laws and proper use of motorized scooters. I think that speaks for itself, so we can reach out to the school, the superintendent of schools and see if we can.
Yeah, sure. Before school started, we had that conversation with the superintendent and assistant superintendent. So all the SROs have been updated on the law. I issued a directive and a bulletin within the department, so everybody kind of knew, the intricacies of the law. It gets a little difficult to parse through, so we kind of gave out almost like an outline and with enforcement options and everything, so.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. The next item we have is item number 6. Mayor Keefe requests the following: that the Traffic Commission, in coordination with MassDOT, evaluate and implicate safety measures at the corner of North Shore Road and Vera Street in Oak Island. The property at 795 North Shore Road has been struck by vehicles at least 4 or 5 times due to the high rate of speed in this area. Most recently, a car hit a pole and crashed through the property's fence. The installation of barriers or a guardrail should be considered to protect residents and prevent further incidents. The owner of the property has been requesting that something be done for over 12 years. All right, so I have no problem reaching out to MassDOT myself. I believe the counselor stated she would write me forward an email she had from the resident that I can pass along to MassDOT and see if we can get some type of safety provisions installed there.
Mr. Chairman, this is southbound, correct?
Southbound, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. Number 7, amend Schedule 1 of Title 10 by making the following changes. These are some just parking penalties, subgroups, and I believe they're just shifting around groups from A to B, C to B to C, that type of thing. Would anyone like to speak on this matter? I did go through them, and they seem pretty reasonable.
Yep.
I think it should just, I'm in favor of moving this along to a public hearing.
Yeah, and I'm just a proponent from Luis Flores from this 300 Broadway. It correlates with the 2025 fiscal year budget, and we're basically just updating the fines to basically fit with every other surrounding city as well, and
Perfect.
encourage compliance.
Awesome, thank you, understood. I would recommend approval of the, moving this to a public hearing. Anyone in favor? Do we have a motion?
Motion to move to public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Item number 7 will be moved to a public hearing. And last but not least, I believe we have a communication from the Traffic Working Group. Julie? Yes. Traffic Working Group, Traffic Common Group? Yes, the Traffic Working Group.
Julie DeMauro, Department of Transportation, actually, Department of Community Development Transportation Coordinator, so Traffic Working Group. So I just wanted to kind of, before we get going on the items that we're going to talk about tonight, I want to mention the changes to our scoring rubric that we are going to be implementing. So one of the key things is that all petitions have to have something coming in from the neighborhood. So there needs to be the 10 signatures signed petition by a group of residents within the neighborhood for this particular petition. Another thing that we would ask is that a specific location, so specific block, north, south, west, or east, where speeding is occurring. We're getting requests. I got a request for just recently, and it just said the whole street. And we can't effectively pinpoint where speeding is occurring without some sort of like areas. So a couple of blocks, It can be 1 block, it can be 2 blocks, but when they send that petition in, it really needs to have the address of where you want the data collected. In addition to that, we are going to be looking at 85 percentile of speed and how many cars are going over that. However, what we're finding is we have some streets, not every street, but this is how we're going to build some flexibility into the policy. We do have some streets that have some speeding, but the speeding is not, the 85 percentile isn't over 25 miles per hour. However, there are 50 or more cars that are over 25 miles per hour or 30 miles per hour. So depending, and if they're under, if they get at least 800 cars per day, we're going to look at that a little bit more closely, and then that'll be a judgment decision between the traffic working group for traffic calming measures. So I want to just kind of raise that point up because I know there are some streets that are on the cusp of speeding and not speeding, so we've built that in. There will be some people that are happy with that. There will be some people who are not happy with that decision. But let's talk a little bit about the 4 recent data collections that we did discuss. One of them is Haddon Street. This is the second data collection series for this area. What we realized is that the first time data was collected, there was actually more cars on the street, and that's because the street was being used as a detour during the construction last year. But for both data collections, there was no speeding at all. So we are not recommending Haddon Street as anything that should be put out to the on-call or any other type of traffic measures being installed on the street. However, with the help of Chief Levita and Lieutenant Malley, we're going to have some targeted enforcement on the street during our high traffic volume time, which is early morning commute time, so 6 to 9, and then from 1 to 2 p.m. What we have noticed is that there's a considerable jump in traffic for this particular data collection from when the last week of summer where there was no school and then school started again. We had an increase of about 200 cars just for that street alone. So people are using that to cut through to avert traffic other places. So Haddon Street will not be moving forward, but we are going to take Revere Police Department and have them work with traffic enforcement in the area. So Centennial Ave is a street that we are recommending for traffic calming measures. So this is one of them where we're building some flexibility into choosing the streets in terms of traffic calming measures. So although the 85 percentile for Centennial Ave was not met for exceeding the speed limit, what we did realize is that it's a high volume road. And the total number of cars that are going over the 25 mile speed limit is 257 cars. So we're looking at this as a place, as a possible race crosswalk, and we are going to look at the drainage, because that would be looking at, that would be sent to our on-call, and the on-call would be kind of realize where's the best place for that raised crosswalk to go, because there isn't one there now. So we'll be looking at that. So that will move forward. Campbell Ave. This is a tricky one. 81 Campbell Ave, this is actually a second data collection point for that area. There's already a speed hill on Campbell Ave, so they collected speed a little bit further north from where the speed hump is now. And what we did find is that the 85 percentile of speed is over the 25 miles per hour. And we have about 247 cars that are over the 25 mile per hour. So high car volume, speeding. This is also going to the on-call because we already have a speed hump there already, and we are not quite sure where to place it. Federal highway guidelines say that they should be placed 300 to 600 feet in distance of each other. We know that the city of Boston, we talked about this the other day, they're placing the speed humps every 100 feet within reason of each other. What I do want to caution about Campbell Ave is that when the speed hill first went in, there was a lot of complaints from some of the other neighbors that it should have been placed up further. So the solution for this, for right now, is we're going to use the speed pillows that DPW has, and we're going to try it out in a couple locations, see where best speed can be captured or slowed down. So we'll need to use the speed boards again. But I think what we'll do is we'll also send this to our on-call with that data, and they'll be able to help us better determine the exact placement from 300 to 600 feet from the original speed hill that's there now. And then lastly, Endicott Ave. This is a petition that will move forward due to, well, the original request was for Endicott at Leverett Ave. And we noticed that 85% tile speed is above the speed limit. A lot of car volume on that roadway. We have about 225 cars just above the 25 mile per hour. But because of the geometry of that street and where Leverett Ave also connects with that street, this is going to the on-call. And they're going to look at it holistically, looking at the street, understanding what can be tolerated there. So whether that means bump outs, whether that means extending the island. But this is probably going to be a little larger project, and we'll be looking at it how it will affect the street over time, not just surface, but also underground utilities. So those are the projects that will move forward and not move forward from this round. But then we will be, next time we appear before you, we'll be discussing Mills Ave and Rice Ave, and then also Walnut Place. And then the next two areas where we will be collecting data will be Lantern Street and also East Mountain Ave. And I know that East Mountain Ave has been a little touchy with everyone. So East Mountain Ave data was collected last year. However, none of the new infrastructure improvements that your team, DPW, has put in were in place. And I think that needs to be looked at again, because normally when you change the roadway, you put in a sidewalk, you narrow the roadway, that lowers speeds. So let's take a look at that data. There was a traffic petition put in by the neighbors, so we want to honor that. But that's all I have for now. Any questions?
No? No. Thank you. Thank you for the communication.
Thank you.
All right. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Everyone, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Awesome. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.